As you start off on changing your relationship with alcohol, you may be feeling a lot of doubt. Maybe you've had hundreds of day ones. Maybe you've tried many different things or read what feels like 100 books. And a little part of you is whispering, is this even possible? Will I ever be free? Could I ever be fully healed from this? Or maybe you stopped drinking, but you're still using a lot of willpower not to drink. Maybe you still feel a big pull daily and you just feel like you can't let your guard down for a minute. You're stuck in fear of returning to old habits rather than thriving in your new lifestyle. Or maybe you stopped drinking already, but you simply don't feel as good as you expected. Maybe you're very tired, irritable, moody, and now having to cope with all of it without a drink. And you're wondering, did God really say to stop drinking? In Matthew 24, we hear the miraculous story of Jesus walking on the water. First, Jesus tells the disciples to get into the boat and meet him on the other side. They obey. Do you feel like Jesus has asked you to do something about your drinking? Now, even though they obeyed, shortly after they find themselves battered by waves, adrift in some wild, scary weather, and they're probably wondering, where Jesus is in all of this. Imagine how they felt. Lord, did we go off course? Did God really say? Where is Jesus? Sometimes we think difficult circumstances are evidence that we've somehow missed God's will. But the disciples were exactly where Jesus had asked them to be. If it's been difficult and it feels like you're in a storm with alcohol, the storm isn't evidence that you're going the wrong way. Because then in the storm, Jesus came to them and he said, take heart. It is I. Do not be afraid. Today I want you to be encouraged. God is with you. He doesn't want you to be afraid. He wants you to have faith. One of the most amazing things about our brains is that they are constantly deciding what deserves our attention. This is part of our survival system. Our brain naturally is inclined to notice danger, uncertainty, and anything that feels threatening. Psychologists call this negativity bias. It's why our one negative feedback or comment is way more memorable to us and significant than 10 encouraging ones, or why the gap to where we want to go seems way more significant than all the progress we've made or all the signs that we receive that we're on track, or why a setback can make us question everything. But in the same story, Matthew says, when Peter realized it was Jesus out on the water, he asks if he can come out too, and Jesus invites him. But then Matthew says, when he, Peter, goes out on the waves and he noticed the strong wind, he became frightened. The wind is where his attention went. Peter shifted his attention from Jesus to the circumstances. And what happened is that fear followed. And the same thing happens in our lives. Whatever consistently captures our attention begins to shape our emotions. And then our emotions begin to shape our actions and decisions. The significance here is this. Notice that the story you're telling yourself about where you are today and where you're going, are you already showing up with a negativity bias, with a doubt? Notice where that doubt is leading to fear and how that fear is making you feel like you're sinking. And if so, that's okay. It's even normal. Even the disciples doubted with Jesus right there in front of them. But alongside that, can you also hold a little faith? Faith that the Son of God is with you, that he is able to show up in the middle of the storm saying, take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid. A powerful shift away from black and white thinking is embracing the both and concept. We can feel fearful and begin to have faith at the same time. Both fear and faith can exist in the same place. Amidst the storm in your life, what would faith sound like? What does God's word say about the plans he has for your life? When fear and doubt arise, simply start to notice them. Then gently shift your attention back to Jesus, who is with you